Okay, part 2 of the collective reading. We're going to pull a couple of oracle cards. Depending on what those are, we may pull some more tarot. We're just kind of seeing where this reading goes, okay? So, why did this happen the way that it did? Because it was predestined, right? We know that. But we have offended and enlightened. So, like I said in part 1, we learn major life lessons from pain. That pain fuels our enlightenment, our ascension, our ability to raise frequencies, right? To become more aligned with our highest timeline, our best version of ourselves. Unfortunately, pain changes people. Sometimes it makes you better, and sometimes it makes you bitter, right? I just want to take a little look at the guidebook and see if I missed anything from the interpretation of this card. Okay, so when something is triggering to you, and say somebody says something, somebody makes you feel, somebody's actions makes you feel inferior, like you're not worth it, like you don't matter. It's really not how you're supposed to feel about things, right? Like if somebody, I don't know, slanders your name, or, makes up a bunch of rumors about you, or, you find that you're in a relationship with a hoe and they're out there spreading the butter for everybody, right? They believe in sharing, and sharing is caring, or something. If you find that triggering and take it offensive, of course you're going to take it offensive. It's going to hurt your feelings, right? It's going to piss you off. It's going to make you feel some type of way. You're not just going to be like, oh, okay, well, that sucks, and just keep it moving. Very rarely do we have that reaction. We usually get pissed off. We usually get hurt. We usually cry. We usually, I don't know, smash some windows in some cars. I don't know, beat somebody up. I don't know. We all have different reactions to our pain. But the underlying lesson is what that piece of shit does to you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. If they act a fool and make you and risk the relationship, it's because they're insecure, right? It has nothing to do with you being inferior or not enough. It's they aren't enough. And so they have to go satisfy that insecurity with whatever they satisfy it with, right? But typically we don't have that reaction. It triggers us, it offends us, and we usually get bitter and we let that rage build within us instead of releasing that hoe back to the streets where he or she belongs, right? So the lesson behind that is learning to figure out why you felt offended. What wound is that triggering? What old trauma, probably from childhood, is that triggering? Is it a fear of abandonment, rejection, you're not good enough? To figure out why that is. And instead of letting that make you bitter, let it make you better. Let it put you on the path of enlightenment instead of that burning rage within you. Because holding on to that resentment, it's like drinking poison and believing that hope that you release back to the streets, that they're going to die and suffer from it, right? Ain't going to happen. They're already suffering. Trust and believe that. Happy people don't act like that. Healthy people don't act like that. It's the toxic ones that run around and dip their in everybody, or spread the butter for everybody, right? The ones that have to bring others down to make themselves feel more empowered or somehow better, higher, however you want to phrase it. They're toxic as shit, right? Let's pull one of these oracle cards. This is the Shadow of Darkness, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Rise up. Number 38 could be significant. That breaks down to an 11. So you could have a life path number 11. 11 could be significant somewhere in your life. 2 as well, because that breaks down to a 2, right? Rise up and realize it is possible. Be open to and willing to consider all the possibilities and be prepared to learn new things about yourself. Well, if that doesn't relate, huh? That toxic situation that came to an end sparked or triggered your spiritual awakening. It woke something up within you that needed to be addressed, that you had been ignoring or not acknowledging for quite some time. So, as painful as it is, as uncomfortable as it is, at the end of this dark night of the soul, spiritual awakening that you're going through, you'll be able to look at that person and say thank you. Or, you know, you don't have to like look at them, but you get what I'm saying. You'll look back on the situation, and instead of bitterness and resentment, you'll show gratitude. That was the only person that could have taught you that lesson, for you to learn it like that, for you to feel it that way. They helped you grow. And if they did it with malicious intent, because there's some unhealthy, toxic monsters out there that do it just because they can, they're going to learn that instead of setting you back like they had intended, they did the exact opposite. They tried to keep you stuck, and they elevated you. Even more than you already were. You were already above them. But the level that you ascended to, that's their karma right there. I mean, they're already living a life in suffering, like constant suffering anyway. But add that to the fuel, to the fire, right? Let that be the fuel to their fire. Number 16, lion. Harness the loyal and protective aura of the lion and charge ahead magnificently. So it awoke this beast within you. One that can't be tamed, but one that has discipline as well. Like where that person that you're dealing with had no discipline, no self-discipline, they fall into temptation and lots of other things along the way. You're disciplined. You have control. You're a little bit farther in the process. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. Pray for them. Lord knows they need it. All right, one more card, and then I'm going to get out of your guys' hair, okay? I thought I saw a card flip, but I could be wrong. I did see a card flip. Sorry, guys. I knew I saw one. Ooh, the Sword and the Rose. Clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, and power. It's that bittersweet situation, right? There was no good, happy ending, but this person did put you on your path to finding your person. Yay! Look at, we have engagement ring, passion, intense chemistry. This person brought you closer to your person. Healing heart. Healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addictions. I feel like that addiction is that constant search for validation from somebody else. You're finding it within. And it'll never be lost once you do that. All right, guys, that was your reading. I hope it helped. I hope it resonated. And I'll see you guys later.